I pledge allegiance to the flag
To the flag
of the United
of the United
States of
States of
America
America,
and to the republic
and to the republic
which is stands
one nation, under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty and
with
justice.
justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah, I'd like to go around the room as we typically are seated in the conference room for a roll call. So I'm going to start with Mary.
Mary Lopresti.
Joshua Dykstra.
Pete.
He looks frozen.
Yeah,
He looks frozen. I can see him now.
he is there.
He is there.
John Kerwin. We'll wait for Pete's system to buffer up again.
There you go. Dave Sauter is here.
Pat Coachella here.
Dan Wall is here.
Brett
Okay.
Olbreeze.
Brett Olbreeze is here.
Jessica Pennell.
Pizza Brass.
Thank you, Jeff.
Pizza Brass.
Keith Rosenfeld here.
Yep. Pizza Brass.
And Steve McCarrion.
Looks like it.
Steve is not on yet. Okay. And Jess, I just got a text from Jesse that he's having a problem with the meeting code. I'm not sure if that's something you can text on the side.
No. Yeah.
You can't?
No, I'll send him the link.
Okay, thank you. So, okay, so with the roll call done, since Jesse will be here, I'm not going to go ahead and see any alternates, just having some login difficulty, so I'll leave that as it is right now. So the first order of business is going to be our public hearings. We have a recessed public hearing for Z20-034, 312 Chestnut Tree Hill Road. The owner is the estate of Serge Mahaly Sr. The applicant is Matthew Mahaly, 111 Booth Hill Road, Trumbull, Connecticut. And this is regarding a subdivision of lot number 2. My understanding is that we received some materials back from them regarding questions that we had that came from Jim Galligan. They supplied some maps and some answers to some of the questions that we had posed to them. However, we have not had a response back from Jim Galligan in terms of responding to those comments, so we'd have something to address. So with that being said and nothing further, I'm thinking that we should probably table this to the next meeting and hopefully have some more substantive conversation with the applicant in the public hearing setting. We have time to be able to do that. So,
Mr. Chairman, Pat Coachella here. I move to recess the public hearing Z-20-034 to our next regular scheduled meeting, and we'll probably still be online, so the location becomes irrelevant.
Brett Olbreeze, second.
okay, we have a first and a second. All those in favor of recessing this to our next regularly scheduled meeting?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, carries unanimously. Thank you. Moving on with the agenda, new public hearings, we have none to be scheduled. And future public hearings, we also have none to be scheduled as well, too. Moving on to the regular meeting business. Amendments to the agenda. We have a couple of amendments to consider. First off, the item under old business for 308 Oxford Road. Jess, I believe that's actually item number 3 under old business.
Is it?
For D20-080. That
Okay.
application, what was that, Jess?
Oh, no, okay. I'm fixing it.
So regarding item number 3, that application's been amended to add retail to the current use, and the application is not for special events. So
Correct.
wanted to, if we could have a motion to amend the agenda to add that on.
So moved.
Second.
Second was by Brett. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that's one. The second potential amendment to the agenda is in regards to Z20-078. This was discussed last week as well for the sitting duck. And what we want to do is we've actually received 2 new applications. So like a motion first off to amend the agenda to remove D20-078, of which I'm going to follow that with a request to amend the agenda to add the 2 new applications that we received. And I'll read those in when we hit that.
So moved to remove application Z-20-078 from the agenda.
That motion, second?
Second.
Second by Brett. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? And now that we have done that, the second part of that is going to be a motion to amend the agenda to add application Z20-317 as new business. And then number 2, add Z20-318 to the agenda as new business number 3.
So moved.
Is there a second? Second, Brett. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimously. Thank you. So that takes care of the amendments to the agenda. Let the record show also it's 7:38 and Jesse Strimmer was able to join the meeting. So welcome, Jesse.
Hey, guys.
Steve McCary's on. Hello?
Steve McCary's also joined as well, 7:38 p.m. Thank you, Steve. Okay. Since that's wrapped up now, we want to do the audience of citizens. Is there anybody on the call who's joined the meeting from the audience that would like to discuss something that is not on the agenda? I'll ask again, is there anybody from the audience of citizens that would like to discuss something and bring up that is not on the agenda? Final time, asking the audience of citizens, is there anything that anybody would like to bring up that is not on the agenda? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on. Correspondence, we have an email from Bill Jambala. Pat, you want to take a, in front of you?
It's addressed to Steve McCary. After reviewing the court settlement in last night's meeting, I have decided to withdraw my application and sign Bill Jambala, Connecticut Propane.
So they withdrew their application from that conversation that we were having last week. Okay, thank you very much, Pat.
Yep,
Yes, there was no other correspondence, I presume, correct?
that's it.
Correct.
Beautiful. Okay. Kept moving on. Old business, matters on which a public hearing was held. On this part, we have Z20-010, 403, 407, 411 Roosevelt Drive, New Haven Rowing Club. Owners, New Haven Rowing Club. The applicant is Stewart Lathers Associates, LLC. Special exception, Article 5, Section 5.3.1, non-commercial recreational use. The public hearing on this was closed on June 16th. So we had a lot of discussion in deliberations at the last meeting, and we motioned and made the approval to have this referred over to Peter Olson, on land use attorney, to be able to give us some, to kind of review it and give us some ideas. I talked to Peter last week and then earlier this week, and he asked that we have plenty of time regarding this. He asked that if we could table this for till our next regular meeting, when we might have something to report on. So, with that being said, rather than reopening deliberations again, it's in his hands, and he's going to come back to us with something. And he asked that we table it. I'd like to get a motion to table this till our next regular scheduled meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Who's the second? Second was
Second. Dan Wall.
Pizza.
Dan Wall? Okay, Dan won't be at the same time. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to old business, other matters. The first item up is a bond release request for Haynes Construction Company, the Meadowbrook Estates. At the last meeting, we referred this to Jim Galligan, our P&Z engineer, and we are still awaiting a report. So without having anything on hand, I'd like the motion to be able to table this to our next regular scheduled meeting.
So moved.
Pat, second.
Second.
Pete,
Pizza Brad, second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Moving along to the second bond release request. This is for Oxford Supply LLC, the subdivision performance bond. This was also referred to Jim Galligan, P&Z engineer, and also we're waiting a report back on this one as well too. So same boat. I'm asking for a motion to table this until our next meeting.
So moved.
Pat, second.
Second.
To Brett.
Oh, second.
Pete, second. Got it. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, good. Motion carries. Thank you. All right. All right. The third item is what we had the recent amendment for. This is Z20-080, 308 Oxford Road. The owner, Little River Associates, Wally Archer. The applicant is Elaine Marcuccio, New England Young at Heart. And this is the one where the additional information received is that this has been changed for retail and is no longer for special events. And there's an amended statement of use included in here as well too in the meeting packet. Elaine, I'm not sure if you're on the call. Okay, and I'm not sure that she has to be in terms of this, but this would be something then that we can then talk about. And I know there were some concerns that came up at the meeting last time. So, is there anything that people would like to discuss?
Mr. Chairman, Jesse Schremer.
Yes, Jesse.
Real quick, I do share a parking lot with this business. I just want to make it clear that I am in no way business associates with Elaine, and we just share a parking lot, and I can make an unbiased decision on this matter.
Thank you very much, Jesse. I appreciate that.
Mr. Chairman, Pat Cocherella here.
Yes, Pat.
I'd like to make a motion to approve application Z-20-080 with the following conditions. 1, the applicant and their signs must comply with all representations made at the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting and/or public hearing regarding this application. 2, compliance with the statement of use dated 7/20/2020. 3, the applicant shall obtain and comply with all necessary permits and/or approvals and follow the Town of Oxford approved permit procedure. 4, compliance with the Oxford zoning regulations as of this date. 5, any proposed sign shall be subject to approval by the commission in accordance with the standards and guidelines as interpreted by the commission. Any sign not included in this application shall come back to the commission or ZEO for approval. 6, the applicant shall be responsible for rendering payment for any outside experts the commission assigns to review the application. The reason for approval is that it meets the Oxford zoning regulations in effect as of this date.
I'd like to second with discussion. I don't think we actually had an opportunity to talk about it before Pat made his motion.
Okay, we have a second with discussion.
If I can just ask through the chairman, and this is John Kerwin, did the provisions that were submitted with the original application get withdrawn, specifically with respect to the outdoor sales?
Yes, the statement of use removed all reference to outdoor sales or special events. It's very specifically stated in the statement of use. Retail sales, example of items being sold include cards, essential oils, jewelry, soaps, gift baskets.
All right, I just want to clarify because obviously with the executive order, the emergency order 7MM, subsection B or 2B, that would only apply, which allows outdoor retail sales. It allows accessory use to existing sales. So I don't think that this application would provide for outdoor sales. It would just provide for indoor sales, which I think is permissible. This is a commercial zone. But I think it's important that we clarify that before going forward.
Chairman Souter? Chairman Souter?
Oh, hold on, everybody talking at once. Thank you for your point, John. Mr. Chairman, Brett, you have you're recognized.
Yeah, thank you. Just a question to John. Could you just repeat that section that you referred to as
All
far
right, so
as what doesn't meet the outdoor
So
retail?
This is not that.
it's executive order
This is a change of use.
7MM.
This is,
So I was trying to clarify, and it's section 2B, which applies to outdoor dining and retail allowed during the emergency. So I just wanted to see that this application doesn't extend to outdoor sales as it stands, and the applicant's not here, so we don't know.
This is Elin. I'm sorry. I just joined in.
Oh,
I'm
excellent.
sorry. I had
Excellent.
another meeting and I'm trying to, sorry.
All right, I guess
So
my
Elaine-
question was, are you still intending to do the outdoor sales with this retail sales application?
Well, so yes, when my vendors come to promote their products, the crafters.
All right, well, I don't think that's permissible under under this particular application. You'd have to make another application under that would allow outdoor sales.
Okay, so it would just be the inside then, if that's what I have to do.
That's what the application appears to be for. Retail sales, as it's defined in our planning and zoning regs, are limited to indoor sales. Outdoor sales, pursuant to our zoning regs, require a public hearing under section 7.3.10. Did you get there? It's 7.3.10 if you want to look it up. So this application, being an application for retail sales in a commercial zone, is for indoor sales. To apply to outdoor sales, you would then have to have, if you wanted to extend that emergency order, you would have to already have an existing sale. So this isn't a way to do that through the executive order. I just wanted to clarify so there's no misunderstanding down the line.
Okay,
As to
then
what's being
I can make one.
You have to, and it allows it as an accessory use. It doesn't allow for flea markets or numerous vendors. Basically, it's accessory sales for a retail establishment.
Okay.
were there any other discussion topics or anything come up during discussion that anybody would like to bring up? Keith, I think you had started to say something.
No, I'm good.
You're good,
John made
okay.
that point.
Thank you, Keith.
I just want to clarify one thing. This is going to be inside sales, not outside.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
She already answered that question for John, Keith, that this is intended for indoor. I don't want to keep asking the same questions over and over again.
Keep
Basically,
breaking it up. That's what verify. Thank you.
Thank you, Pete. Now, I want to keep in mind, it's a change of use, and that's what we want to, focus on that part right here. And I appreciate Elaine coming on and clarifying that regarding the indoor aspect.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else on the commission that has any other points they want to bring up regarding this? Hearing none, we have a motion and we have a second. So I'm going to move forward with a vote. All those in favor of Pat's motion regarding Z20-080, please indicate by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? Thank you. Hearing none, the motion carries unanimously. All right. The other matter under old business, number 4, is going to be Z18-302, 10 Robinson Lane, McNamee Construction. The applicant was Daniel McNamee. Request for modification of construction sequencing. This was a letter that we received from Dominic regarding this, and that has since been denied by Inland Wetlands on July 14th. So there's really no action to be taken. This is going to be removed from the agenda, but I just wanted to acknowledge it because of the fact that we'd had that correspondence come in at the prior meeting.
Mr. Chairman, Pat Cotrella here. Do we have to make a motion to deny this based on the fact that it was denied in wetlands?
I'm not sure we have to make a motion for that because of the fact that it was correspondence. There wasn't an action at that particular time. It went to wetlands first and they already denied it. So there really isn't a course of action that we could take at this moment.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, that wraps up old business, other matters. Next section, new business, schedule a public hearing, none. Next section is new business. First up under new business is going to be Z20-058, 144 Oxford Road. Owner is 144 Oxford Road LLC. The applicant, Jennifer, I apologize if I say this the wrong way, Kiles. Valley Nutrition, this is a change of use permit. Jennifer, are you on the call? Okay. Not hearing that she's joined us, not necessarily sure that she has to be on the call. Basically, this looks like a, Steve, can you give us a little bit more insight in terms of this?
What's that?
Can you give me a little bit more insight regarding 058, the Valley Nutrition application?
So she's going into the place where the creamery was. It's some type of franchise or chain. I guess they sell, drinks and tea and et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
If the retail use that is allowed, it's not on. I think Pete, Commissioner Zabruss also did research on her as well.
I missed that last part regarding Pete.
I said I think Pete knows a little bit about it too.
Okay. Pete, anything you want to add to the discussion?
No, not really, but I think Josh, you had some about this one? About the nutrition one?
Yeah, I guess it's probably just worth noting that this is appears to be a company that's connected with a larger multi-marketing company called Herbalife. And just, I mean, if anybody follows kind of the multi-marketing platforms around, I don't know that there's anything that we, on an official, just I guess for awareness, that it's basically it's a pyramid company, right? And so with those come some risk for the business and surrounding areas because they're constantly trying to bring more and more people in so that people can move up that ladder. So I mean, I'd be more than happy to discuss further, but as long as if you guys have the information, you can do the research yourself.
Yeah, no, I was more curious about it because I wasn't familiar with them at all, and I just wanted to get a little bit more insight because there wasn't a lot of information, with the application. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's a change of use, for this, and I don't see anything else that's popping up here that would, scream problem or anything like that, unless somebody else sees something that they don't like.
Mr. Chairman, here.
You recognize Pat?
I have page 67. I have what looks like might be a sign, but there's no measurements, no nothing on it. So I have no idea if it's within or not within our signage regulations. And is it part of this application?
Steve, when you collected the application, was this the sign information that was provided to you?
That was the sign information. She was supposed to submit dimensions. I haven't talked to her probably a month. I don't know what's going on. Certainly call her tomorrow, but I told her we needed details.
Dave,
Yes, John, you
can I
recognize.
just ask, so 144 Oxford Road, just so we're clear, it's not listed anywhere. It's supposed to be on the application. Is that's down at the old plaza,
Tommy Case.
Tommy Case Plaza?
I believe it's Tommy Case Plaza, right, Steve?
Yes,
And that's zone commercial, right?
yes.
Exactly. It looks like it's going in from where Country Creamery used to be.
Use the old, okay, yep.
Got
I know
it?
where that is now.
Yep.
All right. Whether it's a pyramid scheme or not, I mean, pyramid schemes are by definition commercial.
Yep. Is there, Pat, regarding your question regarding the signage, is that something that we can make a condition of approval with the motion?
Number 6 is any proposed sign shall be subject to approval by the commission in accordance with the standards and guidelines as interpreted by the commission. Therefore, if the condition of approval is not met, the approval is no longer valid.
Okay. So then we'll cover our bases with that, and then Steve, it'll be up to you to make sure that she understands what those dimensions for those sign requirements are. If you can reach out to her tomorrow, assuming that this gets approved.
Yep, no worries.
Okay. So at this point, I move to approve application Z20-058, change of use with the following conditions. 1, the applicant and their signs must comply with all representations made at the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting and/or public hearing. 2, compliance with the statement of use dated 6/12/2020. 3, the applicant must obtain all proper permits and/or approvals outlined in the Town of Oxford permit procedures. 4, compliance with the Town of Oxford zoning regulations as of this date. 5, the applicant shall be responsible for rendering payment to any outside consultants the commission assigns to review the application. 6, any proposed sign shall be the subject to the approval by the commission in accordance with the standards and guidelines as interpreted by the commission. The reason for the approval is it meets the Oxford zoning regulations in effect as of this date.
Do we have a second on the motion from Pat?
So moved.
Second.
I heard all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, carries unanimously. Thank you. So they're all set. All right, next up, we have, this is where we made the other amendment to the agenda. We have taken out Z20-078, and this is being replaced by Z20-317. This is a site plan modification. And I understand we have some representatives here to be able to talk a little bit more to that. Is that the case?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Tom Haynes is on, and I think Kyle Borgardis of Langen Engineering is on.
Correct. This is Kyle.
Well, thank you guys and welcome. I appreciate you you jumping on to be able to talk a little bit more about this. Could you introduce us to what's happening with the site plan modification? Oh, and by the way, before I start that, to the members of the commission, this was emailed to you a little while before the meeting, so you'll have it in your email. It's not going to be in your packet, but Z20 317 and 318 will be included there. So I will turn it back over to Tom and company.
Well,
Kyle.
thank you. And Kyle, yep. And first, I want to apologize for the confusion on our application. I think we were more confused than you were as to what our application was supposed to be. So basically, our site plan modification is to put a covering over the patio that had been planned to put outside the overhead doors at Sitting Duck. And I believe that's the application. Is that right? And then the roof deck is a modification of occupancy of the building. So in essence, that's really all that we're asking to do. Patio and walkway had always been planned on that site alongside those doors. Confusion as to whether we had clearly defined it on our site plan before. So what we're doing is trying to clean up any confusion from our original site plan for that building, which we call building N1 and N2, which are the two buildings. N2 is the building to the left, which is not built yet. And N1 is the building that is built and occupied and sitting duck is in. So site plan modification is really to just put a covering over a patio that had been planned to be put outside where tables can be put by the overhead doors for sitting duck.
Okay. Is there any members on the commission that have some questions regarding this?
Yeah.
Pete,
Yeah.
all right, Pete, I heard Pete first, so I'm going to recognize Pete.
Yeah, Tom, I understand. Is there going to be rooftop dining there?
So Pete, I think that's a lot of what we confused everybody. So the rooftop dining is in the next application, which is on the existing building. So the way that this application is proposed is to just handle us putting a roof over the patio and a set of stairs to get to the existing building rooftop, which is the next application for the rooftop dining. And so everybody really understands the whole idea, the logistics of this. Normally, we just put, and if anybody's been to Quarry Walk, you see we just build nice patios and people put a table out, and that's how Five Guys had worked. But Sitting Duck asked, they wanted, instead of just putting a canvas awning over it, they asked that they put a solid roof over it. They thought that it would really work well, and we thought about it, and the architecture would blend in tremendously well with the existing architecture. So we may, when and you've already given us approval to build the next building next to it. We're just waiting to find tenants. So we may, after this patio is built and the roof is built, we just may extend this patio covering to the extra 12 foot to connect to the next building, and just have a section of covered walkway that and cover through between the two buildings. Pete, if you know exactly where this is from the park. This ends up being the walkway from the parking lot in the back, all the way out to the green and the front side of all those retailers.
Right.
But the bottom line is, no, we're not asking for dining on this roof. We're only going to put a stairwell on that climbs up and then steps up onto the next existing roof.
If I can interject there for one moment, Pete and Tom, when we were discussing this prior to the meeting, we thought it was important because there was a lot of moving parts that this really should be broken up into two applications, which is why we're addressing the rooftop patio first, and then we'll address the patio and the roof first, and then the rooftop dining itself as the second application, and consider each separately.
Got it. And I know we confused everybody, including ourselves, on the way we applied. So hopefully I could try to bring some clarity to it. And when I can't, Kyle will clean it up.
Well, glad you're able to join us.
Thank you.
Would somebody else have some questions they'd like to pose?
Yeah, I have a few.
Okay, recognize John.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so I think it's page 74, the drawings. Right, that we got a copy of.
Yeah, John?
Yeah, so this is a completely permanent structure. You've got a stone walls. It looks like 2 or 3 foot fascia of wallboard going around the top with siding.
Yep.
And it's going to be wired interior for exterior lighting.
That's right.
Right. And then, just so I understand the drawing, the bottom 8, and I'm referring specifically for the record so everyone can look at it. This is drawing A201, which is...
What page, Sean?
It's drawing A201.
24.
And it's page 74. I don't know if that's architect or the. Just
Yep.
bottom drawing is looking from the green to the front of the building, right?
That's right, John.
Yeah.
That's right.
And then the top drawing, I should have gone the other way. That's from 67 from the entrance, staring. Basically, those are the two garage doors. Come down.
That's right.
So that's,
yep.
Yeah.
And John, to be clear, there's a building that's already been approved, and as I said, waiting for tenants in that, in that temporary, that gravel parking lot area.
Yeah, that's. Yep.
So this view actually won't be seen once the other building gets built.
Unless you're standing in that building, right? Or you're planning on going to extend that on the bottom drawing. Your plan is to possibly extend that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we think would look nice and do well. And if you look across the green, it would match the other walkway that we've got that goes through the middle of the building. So we haven't decided on that permanently, but we think that that's what we may end up doing. But right now, we're just going to cover the patio.
Yeah. All right. Has anyone?
In any scenario, there's still a pedestrian walkway. Even if we cover the whole thing, there's still a pedestrian walkway that brings folks from the back parking lot towards the green. In the future, though, we're going to maintain some sort of walk through that area.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
And this question is actually going through to the commissioner, to the chairman. Has Jim Galligan reviewed these drawings yet, or have we gotten any feedback from the town engineer?
No, we have. I'm not sure that it had to go through through Jim Galligan for this, simply to put the patio on it. So no, it has not gone to Jim.
It's a site plan modification generally, which has to be reviewed by the engineer. And I don't know if anybody's approved the actual stairwell, which is part of this drawing as well.
Yep. Well, John, just to be clear, there is that patio walkway is already approved. So there's no site engineering involved, and no utilities that would involve a Jim Galligan review. This is already approved in the previous site plan application, because there always was going to be a hardscape patio that ran between the two buildings. So there's not really any real change to the actual site, the site plan itself. It's just the putting the covering on right now in those stairs.
It is a site plan modification, though. That's what you've applied for, right?
Well, let's just be clear. That's only
Your
because
mic's on, whoever was moaning.
I'm sorry, but that was just because we were asked to do that, just because of the extension of the building. And that covering was considered to be an extension of the building. So let's just say we decided not to do that and do what a lot of other let's just say people that didn't care about architecture and put a couple of awnings up, we wouldn't be before you for a site plan. So we're going the extra step to do the architectural element that really blends with the rest of the site and all the buildings that are in there.
Yeah, as it relates to the patio, you could do that under the executive order. You could just you could open it up and you could put up the awning and just be done with it.
Yep.
But the executive order doesn't apply to permanent structures.
Understand.
Permanent use, and in fact, it doesn't apply to any site plan modifications.
Right.
It just applies to outdoor seating and use. So I think my points probably are a little bit more, and I'll wait until we get to the upstairs portion with the stairwell. That's not part of this application, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Whether Jim's looked at it or not, I think it looks good. You definitely need to do something over there to kind of create that secluded space, and I think it's a nice addition for the use. It looks like a nice drawing.
Thanks, John.
I just have a concern about maybe having Jim Galligan take an expedited look at it. Maybe I might throw this out there, make our approval contingent on Jim Galligan not having any issues. And they can resolve whatever. If something comes up because I don't feel, personally, I don't have the expertise to look over these drawings and say, this looks fine, and this was included in what we approved on the original site plan. And I don't know if anyone else, I don't think anyone else on the commission has that kind of expertise either.
Mr. Chairman, Pat Cocherello.
I'd like to move quickly to get this going, but that might be an alternative, just so we cover, dot all our I's and cross all our T's.
I'm going to recognize Pat now. Thank you, John.
I think that making any engineering review a condition of approval would be acceptable to me. I would like to see this, given the current situations that we're dealing with, I think getting this done to aid the business, it would behoove us. Executive orders have been made just for that purpose, even though this doesn't come to the executive order. It's sort of peripheral to it. The patio, if I remember correctly, was approved initially. That's why the garage doors are even there. And so the only thing we're dealing with is this, whatever you want to call it, this roof thing. And that's really a building department issue. Rather than, because we're a land use agency and we've already approved the use of the land, the ground that's the patio. So I think that we can move forward with this, and if need to, we can make the engineering a condition of approval. That way we can expedite this.
Well,
Applicant be okay with that?
Yeah, John, that's what we need to do. And I promise you guys, if Jim struggles with stone walls, we'll help him.
Touche.
Is there anybody else on the commission that would like to bring up any questions regarding this?
No,
Just
nothing.
on the
All
second.
I'm sorry, it was all fun.
Pizza Brass, one fast question, Dave.
Okay, go ahead, Pete.
We can't even discuss the second building because we don't have plans for it, right? Rooftop, dining, nothing like that. We can't even discuss that right now because we don't have the plans, right?
We don't have anything in the application in front of us. It's simply regarding the rooftop extension over the patio itself.
Okay, I'm fine with it. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Tom.
Okay. Yep. Thanks, Pete.
Mr. Chairman, Pat Cocherello here. Would you entertain a motion at this time?
And assuming that nobody else in the commission has any comments they'd like to bring up regarding this Z20-317, then yes, I would entertain a motion.
I second that motion.
Okay. Okay, I move to approve, what is this, what's the number on this? I'm sorry.
Z20-317.
Okay, I move to approve Z20-317 with all standard conditions of approval, and add that it is subject to engineering review.
Second. Pizza Brass.
Okay, Brett, I think got the second one in there. All those in favor of the motion from Pat to move this forward with that additional condition of approval, please respond by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Okay. So now, the second, the other item that we have here for new business that we amended the agenda with is Z20-318. This is also for Sitting Duck, And this is going to be for the rooftop aspect. And again, I will turn this back over to Tom and to Kyle to introduce and talk a little bit what's happening with this second application.
So the application it pertains to putting dining on the roof, and in a grander scheme, if you were to go out there, you would see all the buildings out there all have outdoor patios on the roof. The building we're building across the street, across the green, has outdoor patios. The medical office building on the third floor, which we just put trees on, has outdoor patios, and the roof over the Country Creamery is built to put a patio outside to be used. And so the other end of building in had always been planned to put a patio out there. If you were to notice the architecture on the front of the building, we had lowered the front of the parapet so that way an outdoor patio was always planned to be on the roof for outdoor dining or outdoor usage of the tenant. We confused the situation a little bit and thought that we were clear with that in the original application for the restaurant. And instead of trying to go back and create clarity out of that, we decided we'd just make an application for using the roof as it was built to put outdoor dining from the restaurant. There is a stairwell in a doorway that's already built and was improved and is installed and waiting for a set of stairs on the inside to be put in, and a railing to be put around, and a deck to be put on. And fire safety requires a second entrance, which you just approved as the second set of stairs to get up to the roof. So our application is to just allow the patio to be used on the roof for the restaurant. It would overlook the green. It wouldn't be seen from the front. We put all the utilities, RTUs, and all around the back third over the kitchen. It'll be screened. We plan a nice railing that would go around, and so for functions that happen on the green, people will be able to sit up and dine and overlook the green, and just really to be able to use the rooftop as a special place for sitting duck to serve people when the weather works. So that's the application.
Mr. Chairman, Pat Cotrella here.
You're recognized, Pat.
May I address Mr. Haynes or Mr. Bragadas directly?
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, when the area that's now the sitting duck was built, wasn't there some changes to structurally support the use of the roof as a heating area? Wasn't that a little delay in the construction, if I'm not mistaken? Or am I wrong on that?
Yeah, this is Tom, and I'll address that. Because as we were working with Sitting Duck, we revised our drawings, we submitted them to the town, included all of the roof was re-engineered, and the steel was changed to allow just the front 2/3 of the roof to carry the load required to put people up on it, in the doorway and to downstairs. So that was all done and submitted to the town, signed off and approved and built.
So that's what I had thought. So at some point, it sounds like we headed for approval for rooftop dining. We may not have formally did it, but apparently.
So Pat, even to be, and so what even caused more confusion by us was that details on the original drawings that were submitted to the town showed the potential patio rooftop up top to be determined at a later time. So we had always planned for this in some fashion. So our original drawing has details. The architectural drawings has details of the roof that had planned for a patio on the roof.
I have a couple.
Thank you.
Okay.
Pat, are you done?
Yes, I am. Thanks, John.
John, you're recognized.
Thanks, Dave. Tom,
Yeah,
so
John.
you said these plans have already been submitted and signed off by the fire marshal with respect to egress and ingress, and you've got a second entrance, right? I can't see
Yes.
that on the drawing, but
We do the second entrance. So yeah, I think on one of the drawings it shows a stair. There's an
oh,
existing.
okay, yeah.
So yeah, we've been working with Scott, and Scott is going to determine the occupancy load. We've shown the maximum occupancy load. We're working with him and the building inspector, of course, on the drawings. So no matter what your approval is, he's going to have final say whether that occupancy amount is going to be what you approve, or it could possibly be reduced by the egress calculation.
You can't get a CO for that area until he signs off on the stairs, the fire say all that kind of stuff. So I think the only
100%,
concern
John.
that I would see from the planning and zoning perspective, I know that we sometimes are sticklers for signage, especially with outdoor dining, and I know I would see that you'd have a lot of umbrellas up there because it's probably going to be pretty hot in the summer. I don't know if the commission has any concerns about a lot of advertisements on the umbrellas, which would apply to signage, and that might be a concern that would come back to maybe cause some trouble. I don't know what your plans were with respect to having consistent umbrellas and restricting any kind of advertising up there.
So, John, that's a great question. So
I try.
No, but that really is because our leases allow us to control that.
Yeah.
Everybody isn't allowed to just do whatever they want out there. So we have the control within the lease to not allow a bunch of signage and advertising. So our leases are pretty tight. And I know if you go around Quarry Walk, hopefully you would feel that our leases are pretty clean and keep the place pretty straight and organized, especially from crazy signage stuff that people would do.
All right, that's my only.
Okay, that's good. I want to make sure you were wrapped up, John. Somebody else have some questions they'd like to ask? Pete?
Yeah.
You're recognized.
Tom, you might have asked it. Will this have any effect on the residential area over there, on the apartments looking out?
Pete, to be honest with you, it's going to have a lot of effect on them. They're going to be spending money down there like crazy.
Oh, Tom, but that's not the question. It's like looking out their window, is it affected at all?
Is built.
Nice
and,
thought.
and again, what's planned? The back third has got all the RTUs and all, and you can't really even see that from the residential. So the front 2/3 can't be seen from the residential building.
That's great. I'm just doing my job. That's.
Yep.
Thanks.
Anybody else on the commission have any questions they'd like to bring up?
No.
None? Okay. Hearing no other questions or discussion topics, I would entertain a motion to take action on Z2318. Is there a motion to approve?
I second that.
I didn't hear somebody who made the motion. I'm asking if anybody would like to make a motion.
Yeah, this is Dan. I'll make a motion to approve the application.
I second that.
A motion by Dan and a second by Pete.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Pat, do we have specific language we need to read in for this?
Just our standard conditions of approval.
Pat, does it have the language about agreeing with all representations made during the?
That's part of our standard conditions, yes.
That's part of the standard, yeah.
So we have a motion from Dan, and Dan, please correct me if I'm misstating this, but a motion from Dan Wall to approve D20-318 in accordance with all standard conditions, Oxford standard conditions under Oxford P and Z. Is that the best way
Exactly.
to say it?
Yes, sir. Very good.
Okay, and we have a second from Keith. So all those in
Yes,
favor of
sir.
20-318, respond by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none, it carries unanimously.
Hey, thank you all, guys. Really, I appreciate it. And everybody, and
Thank you,
Jessica,
Thomas.
thank
Thank
you.
you, Kyle.
Yep, and Jessica, thanks for all your help. Jessica and Steve, really, thank you for helping us get our act together. Thank you.
No problem. Have a good night.
Yep. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.
Okay, moving on with the agenda, the next topic up we have is zoning enforcement. Steve, do you have any updates to anything that we've been discussing in the past? Anything the commission needs to discuss or talk about?
I do not have nothing to report. Hello?
Hey, Dave.
Brett has a question.
There were a couple zoning issues that we had dealt with, a month ago, 2 months ago, and there was no update last meeting. So does that mean all of these issues have been resolved to our satisfaction? And if not, why?
Was there a particular one that you had a question about from one of the past meetings, Brett?
I think there were a couple open ones with respect to vehicles on properties.
So that would have been.
Are you talking about
317 Riggs.
317 Riggs Street?
I think there were two people who had zoning, who had automobile issues.
So 317 Riggs Street, I brought it up last time that the applicant has obtained a lawyer, and now we have to get ours. But in the meantime, he did move some vehicles. The gentleman on Solano. Hello?
You're still there. Go ahead.
The gentleman on Solano Drive has moved all his vehicles up to his store in Waterbury.
So the Solano. So Steve, what you're saying is Solano's resolved because the vehicles have been moved?
That's my opinion. I mean, you guys are welcome, certainly to drive by. You're the commission, but I think he cleaned it up. He sent me photos of the vehicles at his new shop and photos of his yard, and I've been by there periodically. And I don't see a lot of them anymore.
How many vehicles are there?
Right now, I have no idea. I think there was 4 last week, and they all had plates on them.
I remember that he had sent over Steve a couple meetings ago, presented the fact that they were registered and they were being moved, and everything that was still there was properly registered. That was the last update that I recall regarding that.
That is correct.
Steve, can you do us a favor and do a drive-by just to confirm that it is cleared up, and that way you can let us know for sure at the next meeting so we can mark this down as resolved?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, make sure they're registered in Connecticut, though, not Massachusetts.
John, you have the state statutes on that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want, because I was told, as long as they're registered, it's fine. I just want to be sure before I play that card.
Yeah.
Not if you live here more than 6 months. They have to be registered in Connecticut.
Right, but at the same time too, we're also in a position where, if that's something, we're going to start checking everybody that has an out-of-state plate in their driveway, and I want to be careful about what line and where we're putting resources as well too. I want to make sure that they're registered so they're drivable and we can do something with it. And
yeah, I mean the other part of that is motor vehicle statutes. That's not us.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, the purpose is not to enforce the motor vehicle statute. It's to enforce the zoning regs, and also to make sure the guy pays the taxes that he owes the town of Oxford. So this isn't the type of situation where we're just driving around looking for out-of-state plates parked in people's driveway. We have an individual that said that he moved a bunch of vehicles here and was storing business vehicles on his property. So this is an outlier case. That's why I bring it up. But until we don't really need to talk about it now until Steve comes back and sees what's registered. He can check and see if he's paying taxes on all those cars.
Steve, if you could also,
Yeah.
after when you do your drive-by, could you also confirm with, policy protocol, who would be accountable for us to report this to? So that way we can say that, we went through this issue, you noticed as part of this thing that there was X number of cars from out of state, and let the right people know, and then the people that are responsible for it can then pursue it from a tax or whatever perspective. But I agree, I don't think it falls under our purview, aside from the fact notifying that it's going on.
Right. So what we do, or what I've done in the past, is I notify the assessor's office. I show them some photos. They check if they're on the grand list. If not, they send him not a supplement, a declaration sheet to fill out to declare what they have on their property. So hopefully people do it.
Right. Well, all I'm asking from you, Steve, is that if you could just do the drive-by and then document the steps you took, the commission has it, and that way we can say, we can cut it off and say that we're done and we did it the right way. And you moved it to where it needs to go. I think that'd be the cleanest way. Thank you. And also, since we're talking about the cars, the other question was the one regarding Rick Street, I believe, Brett. Was that correct?
Correct.
Any news? You mentioned that was going to council. That he got the lawyers.
Well, I talked to him. He called me. Said stay off my property. I got a lawyer. I've moved a lot of my vehicles. They're all registered here. And I said, well, you've got to keep them on your lot, not the one that your secondary lot. And that was about the end of the conversation. So.
All right. If you could do a drive-by and see if he's taken any action with that, and if he hasn't, then we're going to have to decide at the next meeting what we want to do, because again, that's one that's dragging out and, doing this, doing that, etc. So I would appreciate a quick drive-by, some pictures. Where does it look now? Is he listening or not? And then we'll address it at the next one.
Okay.
Does that sound fair?
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
Does the commission have any other questions for Steve from a zoning enforcement perspective? No? Okay, very good. Thank you. Thanks for bringing those up. Thank you, Steve, for the updates. Next section is going to be from Keith on the municipal planner side, an update on the zoning regulations for the subcommittee that we appointed 2 weeks ago. I'll turn it over to Keith.
Yes, Dave and fellow commissioners. Excuse me. This past week, Jess and I passed out copies to the subcommittee members of the final draft. I know John had not received his, but I was hoping Jess had brought you one either yesterday or today. Is that correct, John?
Yeah, I got it this afternoon, so I haven't had a chance to look at anything yet.
Sure. And
also, and thank you, Jess, again for that.
Oh yeah, thanks, Jess. And also,
no problem.
I've emailed to those members also a brief outline just to get things started, highlights to look for, and I expect that the membership and I will be getting together in the next 2 or 3 weeks to discuss their findings. If any other member wants to talk, Pat, Alex, I don't know if you've received yours, but Pat's been working on it, obviously. So, Alex, have you received your copy?
You mean Brett?
Brett, excuse me. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
I keep on thinking I knew somebody named Alex.
Yep.
Sorry, Brett.
No, it's okay.
We're still new. So, have you received it?
Yes.
Good. Good. So if you have any questions, obviously email them to me, and within the next 2 or 3 weeks, we'll be able to get together and talk substantially about it and see what method we'd like to go and the route we'd like to take. That sound good to you, Pat?
That sounds good, Keith. Thank you.
Sure. So that's
Keith, one of the things I'd like, especially when we have a subcommittee, you folks get working and start running with some different things. I want to make sure that we're on focus and we're on track, and that there is a timeline and an expectation in terms of when things get done. So I want to make sure that we kind of have like an end date rather than saying, oh well, we're going to meet in another couple weeks or something like that. So if you could for the next meeting, or we can talk about it in between before then. I'd like for you to kind of look at what we have, where we are, when you expect this to be done, so we can manage expectations and have something that happens sooner rather than later. Does that sound agreeable?
That does. Excellent.
Great, I appreciate that. Any other things you want to report?
Nope.
Nope, cool.
We're good.
And by the way, I also want to say thank you. You've helped out with some of the motions and things over the last few meetings where there's been some complexity, and we do appreciate that a lot. And I know some of them are dropped on you on the fly, so thank you for that as well.
You bet. You're very welcome.
Next up on the agenda is minutes. I'm not sure, Jess, if you've been able to get caught up with some of these.
I'm just going to leave that date on there until we're done with COVID. No, you guys didn't get those, but they're all up on the website.
Yeah, one of the things, folks, you should know is that all of the meetings that we've been having remotely, you can go and access the actual full video of the meeting, which are the recordings as well too. I've been jumping on those to pick up different things or backtrack on things we talked about previously. So those are there. I know it's not a substitution for the actual minutes themselves, which we know we have to get done, and we probably are going to have to carve out some time for Jessica to just kind of focus on that in its entirety. But in the meantime, we do have the fallback that the full recordings and everything are available online for you to access. Next up, we have invoices.
Mr. Chairman, Pat Cotarella here. I have two invoices. The first one is from our Land Use and Conservation Council. It refers to the Timberwolf matter, and it's for $129 and motion to pay.
I would just like to interject here for a second. Peter Olson reached out to me about these two invoices. They're dated from June of last year. For some reason, they fell through the cracks somewhere, and they were sent to us, but they were never paid. So that's why he called and asked if there's any way that we could get them on the agenda quickly to be resolved. And they're two smaller ones. So that's the basis for the $129 and the following one. Is there a motion to pay the $129 invoice that Pat
I
referenced?
already made it, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
All right. The second invoice is for TPB Contractors Appeal. It's for $193.50. I make a motion to pay.
Second.
Pete, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. All right, so that takes care of the invoices. Last up under other business, there was an email that was received that was not addressed to the commission. I didn't enter it into the packet. Thinking more about it. It was addressed directly to Jess and to Steve, as opposed to coming to the commission or to my attention. And it also gave originally the premise, looking at it quickly, that it was some sort of official email, and it doesn't really look like that it is. I'm not sure if a response or anything is needed or indicated. I'm going to actually refer this over to the Board of Selectmen and Town Council to see if there is a need to respond, and if we are to respond, how we would respond. I don't know if this a response is even warranted based upon the source of where it's coming from. So I wanted to kind of throw that out there to acknowledge the fact that Jessica shared it with everybody that we had it. But I'm gonna that's the plan in terms of what I'm going to be referring it to, and I just wanted to let everybody know and acknowledge the fact that since that was passed on to everybody here.
Mr. Chairman,
I don't think there's a
what was the synopsis of the email? Because I don't recall getting any information.
Rather not discuss because it wasn't addressed to the commission, Brett. It was simply coming from an outside source, and it wasn't addressed to the commission or anything like that. So I would rather just have somebody give us some guidance how to handle it.
Okay.
Okay. So no other action that needs to be taken on there. With that being said, it is 8:41 p.m., folks, which is really nice. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Patrick, second. You're a second? Cool.
That was Dan, second.
Dan, thank you, Dan. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody. I
Thank
thought that was
you
a great meeting.
All
Have a
right.
great night, everyone.
Thanks,
Have a great
guys.
night.
Have a good
Good
one.
night, everybody.
Have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Jess, for the paperwork.
Thanks, Jessica, for everything.
Thank you, Jessica. Good night, everyone.
Good night. Okay, let's shut down. 10, update. Okay. I don't know if it's this computer or if it's. Oh, shit. Close all this shit off. Close. Let's open this. This is not responding. Close the programs. This fucking computer.
Pete, what are you doing?
Trying to shut this thing down.
It's up in the right-hand corner, you knucklehead.
No, it ain't. I got a blank screen. I don't know how I got you now.
It's because I've been on the meeting. I just came back because I had to go to the bathroom, and I see you there, and you're looking confused.
Yeah, I'm trying to shut this thing off.
What, you don't want to talk to me now?
Yeah, I'll talk to you. What do you want to talk about? How you been doing?
Good. How about you? Can you see me?
I'm fine. No, I can't see you. I got the, like I say, I got the screen up. That's all. It's, the shut off screen.
Okay, so if you right-click the bottom taskbar and bring up taskbar, so right-click it and you'll see taskbar. Do you see that?
Yep.
Okay, then it probably come up in Task Manager, and you'll see Google Chrome or whatever you're using. You click that and you hit End of Task. As soon as you click End of Task, it's going to close the window.
Okay, gotcha. Have you sold anything yet?
For industrial lots?
Yeah.
Not yet. I haven't got the MAI appraisals yet. I'm hoping to have them by the end of this week, but I have 4 people who are very hot on them. So even if I get half of them, which I think I'll get more than half, but yeah, it's looking good. People are hungry.
Good.
Everything's going great.
Great. Glad to hear it.
Yeah. How about you guys? How you doing?
So far, so good. Dave's doing a good job. Really.
Yeah, he's settling in, it sounds like, and he's, I'm just in there just listening to see what you guys are talking about and see what's going on, and just kind of stay in touch.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, if you need anything done at Town Hall and Justice and Steve are busy, just give me a call. I'll be able to help you.
Okay, I seen what's her name today from Newtown Bank, Sandy.
Sandy from Newtown Bank.
Yeah, what's her name?
Sue Kovacs?
Sue Kovacs. Yeah, I'm sorry. I got 3 of them mixed up there. Yeah, I seen her today, and she was talking about the development. You in this position, along with the plan and zoning, should be able to get something done for a change.
Yeah, no, I think we will. So the lots that are coming in, or the people that are coming into the those industrial lots that we're talking about, they do all comply within the regulations.
and there's really nothing really sketchy about any of them. So I'm kind of excited too, because they fit their perfect industrial application thing. So, and then they're talking about things like the propane company that you and I chatted about already.
Yeah.
Moving them into an industrial zone. All parties seem excited about that, so that's still in the works. Things are happening because we got someone, which is nice. Like if something happens, I can reach out to the applicant and say, you got to do this, you got to do this for the planning and zoning. So that's because I'm staff, so I can ask questions to the applicant and get you guys the answers. Or if you say, well, what about this? I can talk to them and get back to you and say, this is what they said. So that's a nice feature.
Yeah, we get any buildings? Are you looking to get some storage buildings up there like steel, like we got in steel and roller bearing and so forth? Any of those applying for the land?
Not steel or roller bearing, RBC. People that are coming in is we have a company that's he recycles materials. And then there's another person that is a warehouse distributor, which he does a lot of boar's head meat and stuff like that. Or food or produce kind of things, a big distribution center for that. Then we've got Joyce Fan Lines. He's a trucking company, so he's looking to buy a new building. And then I have another guy named Andy, and he's just looking for a big warehouse for plumbing materials kind of thing.
Okay. Listen, if you're selling land to Joyce, make sure you can't put no Trump signs up.
It was funny. We did talk about that. He goes, I did keep those signs up even after the election to piss them off.
You did a good job. Tell him that's why he lost so much business.
Oh, he is doing so well. I mean, this guy he can easily retire comfortably for the rest of his life without even thinking about it.
Yeah, I know a few guys used to work for him. When I worked for Global Van Lines, a couple went over to him. They weren't too happy, but they were there.
Yeah, he's a good Joe. I mean, he's very amusing to talk to, and he's just entertaining to talk to. He's got a lot of those good stories, and obviously, kind of like you. I mean, you've seen a lot of miles and stuff like that. So, I imagine you have a few good stories too.
Oh yeah, sure.
All good. I'm happy. I'm kind of excited. It's getting fast moving, and it's good.
That's good. I'm glad to hear it. Just no more contractor yards, huh? We don't need no more trucks out there.
Well, we already fixed that because it's in our regulations now.
Yes, sir. Sounds good.
Yeah, so that's good. And then as I said, I still want to kind of be in touch with the regulations and kind of stay in tune with that and see how you guys do with that. Want to see how you guys how that things. I know Keith is working hard at it, and I want to obviously follow along that and see how that goes. And then maybe I was thinking about getting involved in the fees. Maybe I could start looking into that when I get some time.
Yeah, those the fees we're talking about. I don't want to say it online because I don't know who's on there, but you know which ones we're talking about. The ones we're talking about.
It's just you and I. I can tell you, it's just you and me.
Okay, you know the ones we were talking about before that
Yeah.
we were talking leave alone. Those there.
Yep.
Pretty unfair, but
Yeah, but this might be the time for me to look into it and try to help orchestrate or guide it. And then you guys obviously have to be submitted to you, and you guys make the final decision. But maybe I can get something figured out and submit it to you guys.
yeah, sounds good.
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna let you go because I got some stuff to do here. And you take care of yourself. It was nice talking to you.
You too, Pete. Don't be a stranger. I'm there if you need to talk.
And once this virus is gone, then things straighten out. They'll be a lot better,
Yeah, but if you you need anything by the town hall, just come in. I'll meet you by the bench.
Sounds good. You got a
All right.
deal. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey, you take care, Pete.
You too. Stay safe.
All right.
Tell the world I said hi.
I sure will, and you and your wife.
Likewise. Thank you. Be
Ciao.
good. Bye. Get off. Okay. You see how they think Trump is a big joke?